time to hear it again. The answers to our problems comes from within. Well, it's love. The games of tomorrow, they seem worse than before. Living addictions, one always needs more. Love. Walking in the moment, you know we're living in the day. Sharing a true love, you can feel it along the way. Walking in the moment, you know we're living in the day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
A viral dashcam video out of Wisconsin caught a police officer's unexpected response to a student's excuse for his speeding. The kid tells the officer he's late for an important presentation in class and was only speeding because he'd had to stop by the house of a buddy who knew how to tie a tie. Unfortunately, as we can see, the buddy wasn't home, and the poor kid remains tieless. The officer takes the kid's tie and asks him to get together his license, insurance, and registration while tying it around his own neck. The officer counsels the student that one of his insurance cards is expired, then notices that the tie is too short. He'll have to do it again. The second attempt is a little long, but it'll have to do. He sends the student on his way with enough time to get to his presentation, and a newfound appreciation for police officers. Greenville, South Carolina grocery store employee Brandon Rollins was going about a day like any other when he saw an opportunity to help. A frail, elderly customer half his size was making her way into the parking lot, and Brandon went out of his way to make sure she got where she was going safely. He took her by the hand and walked alongside her, not knowing that a customer was watching and shooting heartwarming video. Bo Graff posted his video to Facebook, where it quickly went viral and earned Brandon a spot on the local evening news. Bo told reporters that he had approached Brandon after witnessing his gesture of kindness to let him know how much it was appreciated, but that the kid had acted like it was simply no big deal, which, as Bo pointed out, is really the kind of attitude that the world needs to see. His Facebook post concluded, "This is what America should be, and hopefully this is the America of tomorrow." Employees at the Qdoba restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky take pride in going out of their way for their customers. Among their many regulars is a woman that employee Ridge Quarles describes as a very nice lady with disabilities who isn't able to get out of the house very often but loves to eat at her neighborhood Qdoba when she can. Employees know her order by heart, but one day when she was having a particularly tough time, she had an unusual request for Ridge. After placing her regular order, she asked Ridge if he might be able to help feed her, and the young man didn't think twice before agreeing. Several other customers noticed the exchange, and one shot some video, which he shared to social media. The big-hearted gesture brought local news to the friendly restaurant, but Ridge insists that he was only doing what anyone else would have done. U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert Riston was out for a bite at a local Taco Bell in Alabama when his opportunity to make someone's day a little brighter presented itself. He was approached by a couple of boys who were selling homemade baked goods to raise money for their family. When Robert asked the older boy, only 9 years old, if he had eaten anything that night, he answered no. But Robert didn't have any cash on him, and the youngsters weren't in a position to take credit cards. So Robert brought both boys up to the counter and let them get anything they wanted to eat on him. The video was captured by a customer who decided that the heartwarming moment needed to be shared with friends. After going viral, Robert was interviewed by local news, telling them that the boys were just as much of an inspiration to him as he could ever be to them. He also mentioned that they thanked him not just for the meal, but for watching over and protecting them in his role as a soldier. Los Lunas, New Mexico police officer Mark Gurule responded to a call in late 2015 of a man laying up against a rock in the middle of a parking lot with no shoes or socks. When he contacted the man, he found his soaking wet socks drying nearby and old shoes that were full of holes. Officer Gurule could have given the man a hard time for camping in a public place, but his body cam revealed that he chose a different course of action. After making sure the man wasn't in medical distress and had eaten earlier in the day, the officer went to a nearby Big 5 sporting goods store and came out of his own pocket to buy the man a new pair of shoes with warm winter socks. Officer Garule told the man, whose name was also Mark, that Big 5 had hooked him up, implying that he hadn't actually bought the stuff himself, and as if this weren't enough, he couldn't leave without giving Mark $20 to make sure he wouldn't go hungry that night. Officer Garule is one cop who truly embodies the phrase "to protect and serve." Employees of a Vancouver, Washington donut shop could tell that something was wrong with one of their drive-thru customers one morning in early 2016. The unidentified woman was visibly upset, and when one young employee asked if he could help, the woman confided that she had lost her 37-year-old husband just the previous night. The 19-year-old employee, Pierce Dunn, asked the woman if he could pray with her, which she said would help. Amazingly, several other employees dropped what they were doing and leaned out the drive-thru window to participate in an impromptu prayer circle. Of the group, only Dunn explicitly identifies as Christian, with another young man later telling reporters that he isn't religious at all, but just wanted to try to help someone who was obviously in need. A customer in line at the drive-thru snapped this photo, which garnered millions of views on Facebook. The general manager of the Dutch Bros franchise commented that these are just the kind of people the company hires, and that her employees do things like this all the time. This unbelievably touching incident just happened to be caught on camera, and the kids involved say that they just hope the picture going viral doesn't cause the woman any trouble.
Welcome to Top 10 Archive. It seems all we ever hear about is how terrible the world outside is. In fact, if you scour through YouTube comments or any internet forum, you'll find that acts or even words of kindness come few and far between. So, who could blame us for wanting to put the spotlight on these top 10 heartwarming acts of kindness caught on video? Number 10, One Last Shot. Challenged with a mental disability, young Mitchell Marcus hadn't been able to partake in a game he's loved since his early childhood, basketball. To fulfill his love of the game, Mitchell serves as team manager for the Thunderbirds at Coronado High School in El Paso, Texas. During the last game of the season, Coach Peter Morales sought to surprise his assistant by putting him in the game. But that's not where this feel-good story ends. After several unsuccessful shots to the basket, Jonathan Montanez, a rival player from Franklin High School, tossed Mitchell the ball, allowing him one last and successful shot. As the ball passed the basket's netting, the entire gymnasium erupted in a deafening roar for Mitchell Marcus. Number 9. Making a youngin's day. Even the simplest acts of kindness may have more of an impact than you could ever know. During his normal garbage route, Manuel made an unscheduled stop to visit a small autistic boy named Daniel. The cordial visit turned to a pleasant surprise for Daniel and his family when the garbage man presented the young boy with a gift, a toy garbage truck. What makes this moment all the more special, and why you never know what your generosity may mean to someone, is that Daniel had recently broken a garbage truck toy. Number 8. Shirt off your back. You know, New Yorkers may get a bad rap for being rude, thoughtless, and way too absorbed in their own lives.
I'm walking here!
But 23-year-old paralegal Joey Resto put all of that to rest during a routine Friday night subway ride. During his trip, Resto noticed a shivering, shirtless, homeless man, and without thinking twice, literally took the shirt off his own back and handed it to his fellow passenger. The homeless man accepted the act of kindness silently, possibly shocked by the unexpected kindness and loving act of a complete stranger. Number 7. The cost of kindness. Could you find it in your heart and wallet to deviate from what your job entails and hand over a lump sum of cash to a complete stranger? A Syrian refugee living in Texas and known only as Noah was working at his jewelry store when a woman came in, visibly distraught, looking to sell a family heirloom for quick cash for bills. Rather than take her personal effects for a fraction of the value they're worth, Noah returned the ring to her, dug into his pocket and produced the cash she needed. During his interview with CBS, the kind-hearted jeweler continues his kindness by expressing how he'd give her more money if he had a means of contacting her. Number 6, the ultimate act of sportsmanship. If there's any reason to show kindness to your fellow person, consider who may be watching. No, we don't mean you could become a viral sensation. We're talking about the tiny eyes of easily influenced children. The youngest of children have the capacity to show compassion if they're shown the importance of it. During this youth football game, the ball is handed off to tiny Jake Steiner, a boy simply described as a special player. As Jake makes his way down the field, his teammates swarm around him to protect him. But it's not needed. As the Cougar scurries to the end zone, the opposing team, with as much subtlety as possible, drops to the ground, allowing Steiner the chance to score. Number 5, the other side of the law. In the United States specifically, the law has been experiencing an incredible amount of bad press. Not all officers of the law deserve the negativity, however, as we can see in this amateur footage caught by an anonymous bystander. Deputy Constable Felix Berrigan of Houston, Texas, had approached a panhandler in a busy intersection when things took an unexpected turn. After the distressed individual broke down and told Berrigan that he needed $49 to return to his family in Seattle, the officer's compassion kicked in and, rather than force the man off the street or arrest him, he simply assumed his story was real and handed him $100. Number 4, Christmas surprises. Most mothers wish to give their children something incredibly special for Christmas and very rarely look for something in return. For Megan Curran, a single mother of 3 forced to work multiple jobs to make ends meet, the tables were turned when Give Back Films chose her for a Christmas surprise. Through the video, we follow Megan as she's treated to shopping sprees while something truly spectacular is going on back home. The night on the town with her family was just the tip of the iceberg of kindness. When she returns home, she's treated to multiple repairs and enhancements done around the house, including a table large enough to enjoy Christmas dinner on with her family. Number 3, the two-way street. Sometimes showing compassion and kindness to someone facing misfortune doesn't have to cost you anything but some of your time. YouTuber Kareem found this out after giving a homeless man named Mark a couple of bucks.
Why?
Why not? I just wanted to help out.
Thank you.
While a little confused but definitely appreciative, Mark had one last request for Kareem, to sit with him for a moment. After spending some time with Kareem, the homeless man unexpectedly gets up and leaves, returning several minutes later. Mark had taken the money from Kareem and purchased lunch for the two of them. The next minute or so of the video is a strange mix of heartbreaking and uplifting.
Don't be ever ashamed for asking any help.
Mike was diagnosed with an aggressive form of MS, which has taken a toll on his body, affecting his vision, right leg, arm, and hand. He had to leave his job. He can no longer drive. The family had to make financial sacrifices, but despite it all, his wife Angèle says Mike remains positive. Angèle and Mike just left the house to pick up their daughter from school. So we're sneaking into the home to surprise the family with our biggest act of kindness so far this year. Hi, come on in.
What do you want?
My name is Heather and I'm with Sebri.com. And we're here to surprise you with an act of kindness today. How are you doing?
Good.
How are you feeling lately? She wrote us the most lovely letter. I'm going to read some parts from that, okay? My husband is amazing. He's such a good, kind-hearted man. His spirits are high, but I know deep down that he is hurting. I want him to know that he is not a burden to our family. I don't mind doing all the things that I do for him because I know deep down in my heart that he would do the same for me. If there's any way that you can help me make him have just one good day, that would be the greatest gift. Angèle, what does Mike mean to you and the kids?
He means the world to me. He's my best friend. You know, we've always done everything together as a family, and with the MS, we've had to kind of take a step back. But I have to say that I'm the luckiest woman to have this man. He greets me. I have the best greeting every day. I come home from work and, you know, it's, hi, honey, how are you? He's waiting for me with an open arm. I always get a hug and a kiss as soon as, so, you know what? I'm just happy to have him at home.
Sudbury.com's Acts of Kindness initiative is about bringing the community together. And today we have our partners in kindness here. PEAR, Rick.
Great to meet you, man. Meet you. Bonjour. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
PEAR, maybe just explain what's going on.
Okay, so Heather reached out to us, told us a little bit about what's going on, and we tried real hard to think about what we could do to provide you guys with anything that would help out. So obviously with our summer heats being pretty incredible, and we've all been touched personally by people close to us who've been affected by MS. We know the swelling can be unbearable, and the heat is something that will make that worse for you. So we thought, why not give you a central air system? It's something we have access to, and we've partnered with our local contractor here, Rick, who's more than willing to provide the labor, and we'll provide the equipment. So we've teamed up to help provide central air for your house.
It's kind of explain.
It's great. Yeah.
Clarence! Clarence! Help me, Clarence! Get me back! Get me back! I don't care what happens to me! Get me back to my wife and kids! Help me, Clarence, please! Please! I want to live again! I want to live again! I want to live again! Please, God, let me live again. Hey, George! George! You all right? Hey, what's the matter? Now get out of here, Bert, or I'll hit you again. Get out of here. What the Sam Hill you yelling for, George? George. Bert, do you know me? Know you? You kidding? I've been looking all over town trying to find you. I saw your car piled into that tree down there, and I thought maybe you... Hey, your mouth's bleeding. Are you sure you're all right? What you... My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Zuzu pedals! Zuzu... There they are! Bert! What do you know about that? Merry Christmas! Well, Merry Christmas! Merry! Merry! Yay! Yay! Hello, Bedford Falls! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, you wonderful building and loan! Hey! Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter! Happy New Year to you! In jail. Go on home, they're waiting for you. Mary! 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 Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner. How... Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit. I know, $8,000.
George, I've got a little paper.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. Merry Christmas. Reporters. Where's Mary? Mary! Oh, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Mary! 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 Have you seen my wife?
Merry Christmas, Daddy!
Kids! Hey! Oh. Kids! Janie, Tommy! Let me look at you. Oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you. With Uncle Billy. Daddy!
Zuzu, my little ginger snap. How do you feel?
Fine. Not a smidge of temperature.
Not a smidge of Hallelujah.
Hello. George! George, darling, where are you? George, darling, where are you?
me touch. Are you real?
George.
Well, you have no idea what's happened to me.
I have no idea what happened. Well, come on, George. Come on downstairs. Quick, they're on their way.
All right.
Come on. Come on in here now. Now you stand right over here by the tree. Right there. And don't move. Don't move. What's happening? Oh, I hear them coming now. George, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. What's happening? Who's gonna come, Daddy? Who, Daddy? Come in, Uncle Billy. Everybody in here.
George! George! You never seen anything like that. Isn't it wonderful? So many friends. Mary did it, George. Mary did it. She told some people you were in trouble with it. They scattered all over town collecting money. Didn't ask any questions. Just said, George in trouble. Tell me, idiot.
What is this? Another run on fame? Here, George. Merry Christmas.
Don't push. There we are. The line arms on the right. Coming, George. Now don't Merry Christmas. Don't push. God bless you. Oh, Mr. Martini. Here's Martini. Step right up there. I busted the jukebox, too.
Major ransom was charged now.
George, I changed my mind.
But you want if ever I get a husband. There you are, George. You got the faculty all left out a bit. Here's some beautiful.
I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Quiet. Now get this. It's from London.
Oh.
Mr. Gower cabled you need cash. Stop. My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Mr. Martini, how about some wine?
The fool flew all the way up here in a blizzard.
Harry, how about your banquet in New York?
Oh, I left right in the middle of it. As soon as I got Mary's telegram. Good idea, Ernie. A toast. To my big brother, George, the richest man in town. Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
You know we're living in the day. Sharing of true love, you can feel it on your way. Foundations are who you just can't be the top. The time has all risen to harvest our crops.